Oke, game kedua bang ya, match point untuk Onyx. Tadi pertandingan sangat seru sekali bang di game pertama. Kita lihat betapa solidnya Onyx bang ya, menggunakan hero baru Kalea. Ini dia game kedua. Apa semengerikan di game pertama dari Onyx ini?
Rarely do anybody
Pakai
actually get
Fanny
their
di
hands on a
sini
Fanny here.
melawan Joy.
But the draft from Blue here, let's see if this gambit pays off.
Again, it takes guts to actually give Kyle Teasy one of his signatures, the Fanny, but if Onyx, they're the few teams who can actually pull it off. Again, they're one win away from securing a playoff spot in S15.
All right, so it was an orange start for the Fanny.
Oke.
Lower side clear into the orange. In terms of the emblems, basic common for Super Friends, Keller is actually rocking Master Assassin for better dueling against the Harith.
And that might be a lane that they win as well, because look down bottom, Kirk is just bullying Flapteezy down to about a fourth of his health.
Yeah, and he can actually do it, or even force out the Revitalize early on, but now Kyle Teasy spots out King
Kongnya
Kong.
level
King Kong
4,
already level
Fanny-nya
4.
masih level 3.
The struggles of Agatha Kacha EXP against the Hilda. Early on items, it's concealed for Brusco and for Ogwin. Nothing fancy. Rushing on the items for both.
Diambil itu
No shoes for even gold
monsternya.
players who want to play around their dashes instead.
Oh, Kyle Teasy!
Oh, fortunately he was able to steal Cable out. He was up against 3, but again he's still level 3. Oh, you know that Kyle Teasy's jungling pattern has been disrupted because King Kong's gonna have an easy time later on in neutral objectives.
Being disrupted is a understatement. The flicker from Super Prince.
Oh, he was able to escape once again. Here comes the Lantern Flare, forcing out Fuse Flicker also. And now they're putting a lot of emphasis onto the middle lane to have perfect control over the center of the map.
Chow-nya mengintip di bawah merah bersama dengan
good for Falcons right now in terms of taking their
Kirk.
condition, but Kirk is now disrupting Kyle TZ. Great invade by the Hilda. Ooh, what a knockup by Brusco.
Oh, Kirk, one more hit onto Few. They're starting the invade already, and the first blood drawn onto Ogwin.
Masih
The
hidup kah?
answer out with the ult coming in from Few,
Masih
but Kirk
hidup.
literally was able to run away.
The sprint, helping him get to that bush, get extra shields, get some regen, and keeping up the pressure. Onyx PH gets a free turtle because of how
Dapat
much
dong turtle-nya.
of a presence they were in the jungle.
And now they're not even done. They want to go for more at the orange buff. Fortunately, Ogwin and Flap is here to save the day as Kyle Teasy works on the purple buff. And this is what Renmar has been saying all along. The early game is going to be crucial for Ogwin and Kyle Teasy. And they're the ones having trouble because Ogwin's not even level 4 yet.
Yep. So tough for the Khalid. You really have to make the most out of your Desert Tornado so that you don't get tossed up by the Lantern of the Juicin. And so far, Falcons' losses
Kita
are
lihat
quite
masih
minimized. Funnily enough, they could have been
perbedaan
worse at
goldnya
this point. 3 minutes in,
masih
could have
udah
been
banyak
3 or
juga
4
bang,
deaths already on their board. But so
1.500
far,
kah?
they've minimized it to 1, and Kyle Teasy still getting some farm across the board. While, of course, since they are not struggling and they are the ones invading, setting the tempo, King Kong is having a good time in the jungle right now.
Basically, in other words, Green Falcons should be thankful because their team is not losing as fast, but it is bad.
Yeah.
Onyx PH is approaching a 2K gold lead,
Yan
and
dia
look,
gold
a
difference-nya.
gold lead across the board. Super Marco
beda-
seems to be the
beda
only
400 itu. King
holdout. He's like, what, 100 to 100 away from Kelra.
Yeah, but the problem is, even during game number 1, wherein, oh, wait a minute, they're trying to go for Super Prince.
Whoop.
Is the damage going to be there? Though forced out already the Raging Sandstorm for Ogwin. That's crucial.
You were
for
saying about game
Falcons.
1.
Again, even if Super Marco was having a good time up against Keller, even leading in terms of economy up the early game, if they don't manage to minimize the overall lead that Onyx has been doing, but
dapat
Kyle
dong.
Teasy already works on Keller with a kill.
Ingan, you're forgetting it's a team game. It's not just Marco versus Kelra. Kyle Teasy, an opportunist finding his mark.
Yep, that's why we said it's important that Kyle and Ogwin set the tempo. Kyle has done it, but Ogwin gets kicked.
This might be the punish they're trying to look for.
Flicker.
Ogwin is able to flicker out one more hit, even used up the Revitalize. But here comes the heals coming in from Ogwin. Was able to out-sustain King Kong. A
Masih
huge
selamat
play
dong.
from
Kurang
the
damage-nya King
master
Kong.
himself.
Sand is known to stop currency of lightning running through. Perfect science in play for game 2 here.
Yeah, and the best part was they were also able to block out Kelra's Renner. So no casualties for Falcons.
Srot,
And a
srot.
good turtle take from Kyle TZ.
Okay, Onyx still going forward though. They don't want to let this go. They're angry.
Okay, trying to work on Open.
They let
But
go.
the-
Oh,
Hey, miss
Good
dia
flicker, was able to size up
bos.
Brusco. Now they're trying to go for him once again.
Srot.
Kyle TZ enters the picture. Here comes the cables. Super Friends with the Crimson Beacon out. That's Flap TZ. Cast is revitalized.
They are a turtle apiece.
Kurang
and they
damage
have
King Kong tadi, Bang.
managed to shrink that gold lead down in half. Just 1,000 ahead now. Onyx PH's Falcons. Wow, what a recovery.
Yeah, and they have to keep this up. Things like that. Play
Gitu
around
dia.
Kauteezy getting a pick. Once Kauteezy
Gol
gets a pick,
terbanyak
there
masih
is an
Kirk buangnya.
opening somewhere. Be proactive in finding it.
Dan
Even
juga
though
Harit.
Open's been getting poked down, blasted, forced to use a lot of the healing that he needs to keep himself alive, he's not afraid to hold back, to go forward and say, I will get this info, I will find an opening. And he needs to keep this up, except that he will be the literal sandbag.
Yeah, this was also considering the fact that he already used up the Raging Sandstorm prior to that initiation, so he was down a resource. But with the flicker, was still able to make a huge play for the Green Falcons.
Another turtle coming up in about 45 seconds from now. And Onyx PH are looking for another aggressive angle. We need to watch what Ogwin is willing to do here. He's got a flicker coming up for this next engagement. Still magical what he's done. He literally
Masih
chose the best time
farming
to force
manja.
an answer from Onyx, and now it
Srot,
looks like Falcons are the aggressors.
They instead
Kill
went
2-nya
for the
udah habis
beast
bang ya.
himself. Paired up with a Sandstorm from
Masih cooldown
Owen. They're
skill 2-nya.
making things work for Green Falcons. And Renmar, what you actually said is working. Ogwin and Kyle TZ again, the connection is there.
I'm just doing my job. I mean, come on. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm here for.
Super Friends in
Friends.
trouble.
One more hit. Who's gonna get the kill? It's gonna go on to Kapitan Few.
That is
Beginilah
Falcons now in the driver's
miss-missnya
seat.
King Kong
Brusco
bang ya.
holding this brush here, getting out of dodge. This is looking like a turtle with Falcon's name on it.
I just love what Kyle
Tapi
TZ
ini Killranya belum
There
bergabung
was a
bang ya.
clear target and Super Friends onto the middle lane, but they spotted
Kalau
out
udah
King
bergabung
Kong,
nggak tahu
went
dah.
for a greater fish instead, and that resulted to an uncontested turtle take once again.
All the more, it looks like we're going to game 3 as King Kong gets bullied out of his disruptive rotations and Falcons slowly building up a lead of their own.
It's also really important that Falcons are minimizing the opportunities for any of them to get picked
Karat
off by any of the
Superprince-nya.
kicks of Brusco. Highlight going back to when he was able to flick her out of a good kick angle
terasa
that
damage-nya
Brusco
sama
already
si
set up,
Kirk
not
loh.
once, but I believe he was able to do it twice.
Oh,
Oh, Marco
King
can
Kong-nya
handle
nggak berani,
level
Bang, ya.
11, almost
Damage-nya
level
masih
12
kurang.
Joy by himself. That's not good news for the super fan.
and the thing is, even if Few doesn't have his flicker, as long as the passive is active,
Yeah.
all the initiations from Brusco can go to waste already.
Hold up, we haven't really been talking about the map. Look at this down bottom. That turret's still standing.
Oh.
I can smell it. Kelra and Kirk have ill intentions. Believe it or not, that is the first push for Onyx PH in this game.
Okay, so this time Kelra's doing a Super Marco play.
Sekarang
He's trying
Gulnya
to
sudah
go for
berimbang,
the
Bang, ya.
turret pushes instead of clashing because right now they're really outnumbered,
Ini Killranya
outgunned,
masih
out-resourced.
belum
And now they're gonna back
ikut
one
team fight.
to just split pushing and avoiding those clashes.
Cari
Okay,
dua
so
item.
the itemization
Killranya.
for Kelra here, he went for BOD full build and then a Fury Hammer BOD now went into the Malefic gun. So he has a little bit more reach to work with. And even more so now, Falcons really have to time their dives well so that they'll be able to reach and deal damage to Kelra. I believe they might be going for an attack speed type of Beatrix. Let's see with the third item, because this is what I've been looking for. The attack speed Bea just using the rocket launcher.
It's going to be a thorn in the neck for the Green Falcons eventually, but look at Kyle TZ's positioning.
Oke,
He can
ini
literally
udah
go
masuk team
straight
fight bang ya.
for the kill. Just
Bot
waiting
lane-nya
for his spray, but he's going to work on the bottom lane
sudah bergabung.
instead.
Yeah, good
Holy
presence
Crystal
by
sudah
Brusco to
jadi,
actually
baru
make sure
jadi
Kelra's
saya.
just safe. He's
Untuk
going
King
around
Kong.
with this gold laner so that if ever the Fanny decides to go in, there's a simple kick away and Kelra will be fine.
Babak pertama
Lord
sudah
spawns
spawn,
in
udah
the
muncul.
opposite side of the map. That means Brusco and Kelra have to
Blood
move up
Wings.
and maybe contest. They are in contest range, folks. It's just that the map, they need to make it work a little closer to theirs. Ogwin makes contact with Kirk and Super Friends. We really haven't been feeling the Monster Mage just yet. Hasn't found any amazing Crimson Beacons, no?
To be able to use it when it's a full dive by Falcons, that would be
Paniya.
the best bet. To hopefully be able to deal damage while also getting those marks in so that you
Turun
can get
ke
more
bawah.
crowd control to disrupt their team fighting, to set things up for Kelra. So if Falcons don't time their dive well enough, they could get punished.
Here
Di-flicker
comes the
dong.
kick flicker onto Master Ogwin, plus the ult coming in from Kelra. They were able to pick up one. Kyle TZ working on Super Prince. He was able to Crimson Beacon out. No casualties yet for Onyx Philippines. This might be the go signal to get that Lord.
Asking your shield received, defensively used, and now they make a beeline for the Lord!
Beeline onto Flap TZ first
Itu
as
dia.
they take down the Filipino cannon. Marco working on
Pencar orang itu loh.
but Onyx scatters away scot-free once again. Kyle TZ working on Kirk. Here's the
Kiriknya
cut road and the
mati.
shutdown for Kyle TZ.
Falcons, I thought they were slipping on the discipline. It looked like they were, but then they were able to counter back with aggression from
War
Super
X
Marco and Kyle
sudah jadi
TZ,
untuk Fanny.
so that Onyx Philippines will not be able to position and even play for the Lord. Now it's a little bit
Udah
more
enak kali ini
even
Fanny-nya.
for this
Udah sakit kali.
Lord 1 dance.
Yep, at 4 and 3, Onyx were just building up, and then suddenly,
King Kong
Falcons
sekarat.
deny him. King Kong get away with about 2.5 HP. Kyle TZ got to back out of there because they're making the Lord start it up. They're dancing around it. Big presence from Falcons.
Ogwin has good information on where Onyx Philippines is hiding. No contest might happen here actually, and Kyle
Nice,
TZ
mundur
will
harusnya.
secure it.
Ditendang
Onyx
dong.
trying to go for the engage. Here comes the kick onto Flap, gonna bring him down, but Marco working on the
King
beast
Kong masih
himself.
selamat dong.
Oh, they got sandwiched out. Brusco trying to look for Super Marco, but Ogwin was able to zone them out.
The art of the turn. Onyx knew they could not contest, so instead they went for a kill. Definitely could have gotten more if only. If only it weren't a matter of range. Kelra is the only true range hero that deals this kind of damage for Onyx. Hence why they can't finish the job.
At the same time, the heal that Ogwin brought down at his feet, again, that has a slow effect. And Onyx Philippines, once they knew they were in it, they knew it'd be too risky as the tower was also hitting them. So good
Nggak
zone
bisa
by
sembarangan
Ogwin
lagi
to keep
King
Super
Kong.
Marco alive in that sequence. But Onyx Philippines will
Tapi
be
killnya
able
udah
to
sakit juga orang
rush
itu.
this Lord without a problem. Falcons
Tuh,
are
kalau
looking
TJ-nya
to win
damage terbanyak.
somewhere, something in the center of the map. Purple buff about to spawn for Onyx. With Ogwin there, let's see if Falcons will make a play.
It went from worse to bad for the Super Fam. So they are still in relative control of this game, while Falcons are looking to run and gun, move around. They're in better shape than they ever have been in this series. And they spot out Kirk. We're looking for Kirk's next big play. He really hasn't been doing as much as he was in the early.
Brusco-nya
Brusco charging up his
ambil
G20. He
ancang-ancang.
has a flicker here. So they're gonna try and make a play. They're able to still hold on to their mid lane, inhibit their turret, and that's where the trade factor comes in. Again, because Team Falcons, they were able to control that Lord because all their battle spells were up, unlike Onyx, who had to use it just to try and bring down Ogwin.
Whoop.
And now here comes the kick. They're trying to go on Flap TZ, forced out the
Masih
fight
selamat.
already. He missed AOG from the back. Flap TZ was able to escape.
Ih,
Now
mati
they forced
semua
out
dong.
the Crimson Beacon. Ogwin and View is gonna fall down in the hands of the God in the gold lane. Plus King
Super
Kong.
Marco-nya.
The KK connection picking up 3.
belum ada
Oh
ulti.
my God, divide and conquer. It's just Marco and Kyle left versus 5 from Onyx.
Now they're gonna invade onto the purple buff. The sniper is not gonna connect as Super Prince working on the mid lane. The tides have turned once again for the Super Fam.
What a team fight for Onyx
Dibalikin
Philippines. They
dong,
knew
Bang.
they had to split it because if they let
Dipecah
Falcons
orang
go
itu loh.
front to back, it's not going to go well for them. With their resources split up, Onyx Philippines were able to win that without a problem.
Rose Gold Meteor on the way for Kelra, as King Kong also built his own arsenal. Kyle TZ is now left to clean up these lanes. They know, Falcons know that their window is up, that the snowball is slowly melting.
Yeah, it's hard. We're gonna see a lot of Kyle TZ segues, but that's the beauty of it. Seems like there's not gonna
Mari
be any
kita lihat
lockdown
sekuat
apart
apa
from
ini
Brusco. And Kyle TZ can actually evade that easily.
makro
So
dari
still,
Fanny.
Falcons still holding on.
Short of saying, Falcons is dealing with a mess. Luckily, they have a mop.
Yeah. The thing is with the Falcons lineup, with
5
Onyx
detik
Philippines
lagi
already
Lord akan
serving at
muncul di
family
sini.
size,
Lord
all
yang
of them are just
ke berapa
together.
ini?
Kyle TZ is like, what am I
Kedua.
gonna eat, man? I go in and what? Get risk
Kedua
getting
atau
kicked?
ketiga?
All of them are always thinking, but
Yeah.
when you find an opening, go ahead and take it. If you find Super Prince or King Kong, just a moment alone, take him down.
He took a big bite of Fritz there, but he couldn't finish the job. So that's another half-eaten plate that Falcons have to ring up for their bill. And I'm not so sure they got enough left in the tank to get this done. Get paid, son, and make it to the playoffs because
Apa itu?
Onyx
Selesai
is
dong.
going, looking for that kick. Lord gets secured.
And King Kong once again, they will disengage alongside the conceal. Beautiful engage from Onyx.
You see that? Brusco used the kick as a deterrent. It's like, oh, you sure? Huh?
Yeah, I believe as well, it looked like Flapteasy was able to manipulate the angle just a little bit so that he wouldn't get kicked
Ini
closer to
manage-nya
Onyx Philippines. But I
Onyx
like that
ini
Brusco
kalau
didn't
Lord Bang
hesitate to
ngeri
use
bang
the
ya.
conceal to say, guys, let's get out of here.
And also consider the fighting game-like discipline and windows that these players are playing with, because look, there's also a flicker, so Brusco could have also repositioned.
Yeah. Lots of very, what do you call this, snappy decision making.
Some
that they're using.
frames.
Some frames that they're playing around.
He was
Hey.
Put that on a picture
Kurang
frame.
apa ya bang ya?
That's a low light, unfortunately,
That
for
was
the
just-
young phenom.
That was a straight-up FPS moment, son.
Here comes the attack. That's why you don't go in head first against the pack, the family of the Super Fam. Lord sieging in onto the top lane. They're going to be able to clear it out unless Brusco manages to find another pickoff. Here comes the ult coming in from Kelra. And now they're able to take away inhibitor. Marco!
Masih
Super
selamat
Rinse
dong.
with the fast hand flicker. Kelra working on Marco himself. There's minions onto the middle lane and Falcons will be able to clear it out.
Man, I'm really digging this attack speed Beatrix, and I'm so happy to see it here. It's not the full attack speed that I would usually go for Corrosion Scythe, but it's very deadly because it has Sea Halberd, Has
Udah
Claws, and
dibalikin, Bang, ya.
Rose Gold Meteor. A good mix of
Padahal
self-sustain
cuma Brusco yang
and
bisa
just
nangkap
chunky
Vanny loh.
damage.
Unexpecting father. NA's very own Herbert Wagner whispered to me once, Leo, I'm gonna call him Machine Gun Kelra!
Now the angle is
Datang
there
dari
for
belakang,
Machine
bos.
Gun Kelra. Marco just trying to work for a trade. They're going to be able to bring down Kirk, but Flapteasy is the one to fall.
Oh!
Kyle Teasy trying to escape the 4. King Kong working on Ogwin, and that's one member down for the Green Falcons.
It was this moment that Trek saw in his mind when he was making the call. King Kong fights Owen!
No Brush is safe if you're in the midst of a great game from the Beast Incarnate.
Onyx
25
Philippines.
skor sementara.
Again, I said in the game
Gol
one,
beda
they are
7.000,
so
bos.
back. And they are
Satu
so
lot aja bisa
aggressive, so
dibalikin loh.
decisive. And Falcons have winded themselves out. The lineup that was supposed to find a spike at around 10 to 12 just could not find it, as Onyx Philippines were able to find theirs. They are a full dive composition, save for the Aurora. The Aurora supplements the dives that Falcons want to do. But Onyx have great toolkits to counter that. The Crimson Beacon of the Juicing,
HIS.
the zoning, and the crowd control provided by a Cho. And of course, if Kelra can stay alive and be safe, the
5
damage
detik
from
lagi.
Machine Gun Kelra.
Lord yang keberapa
pretty
ini?
much maxed
Keempat
out
kah?
already. Has his
Ketiga kah?
DHS. And now they set their eyes on this
Sudah muncul.
Lord. A while ago, Team Falcons was just merely trying to get a sniff of the Lord, but Brusco's not afraid to commit the way of the dragon, even if the angle's not there.
Oh, that's dirty. He's a Machine Gun Kelra, yes, but he's
Eh,
playing with
datang
Bandit.
Ogwen dari
There's
belakang.
bombs in here. Flapteasy with the AOG.
He's gonna be popped. They're
Eh,
trying to work
Oh,
on
they got
Kelra.
him.
Marco goes
Oh, he
in for the
lives.
back, but he
Telat
lives!
Ogwin-nya.
Machine Gun Kelra onto Ogwin. Next target is Kyle Teasy getting chased down by King Kong and Brusco with a kick paired up with the Thunder to
2-0,
finish off the
bos.
wipeout.
We thought he would peak
Harit
with
yang
God
ngehit
of the
siapa
Gold
itu, Bang?
Lane, but the Brap Devil with an 8-1-3 performance.
2-0
One
bang ya.
more spot
Ngeri bos.
secured. And it's not